Well, they're interviewing all of us at 3.
Dear, well, the whole nursing staff is rooting for you. I really wish you good luck.
Oh, thanks, Lily.
Dr. Bauer, there's a patient I think you ought to have a look at.
Why? Someone for surgery?
I hope not. It's Philip Spaulding.
Philip?
What happened to him?
He got banged up pretty badly in a street fight last night. I figured you might want to check him out yourself.
He'll be all right?
Oh, yeah, fine. I'll see you at 3. Okay?
Hang in there till then, dear.
Yeah.
Got x-rays?
Yeah, let's go.
Officer, this is the 3rd time that my nephew has been assaulted by the Galahads.
Yeah, I want to press charges. I'm gonna nail Lou Jack this time, so he stays nailed.
And now, Guiding Light.
Okay, let's get the details. Where did the alleged assault take place?
Alleged? You want to show this guy my x-rays?
Look, I didn't do this to you, so don't take it out
Yeah,
on
but
me.
wait a minute. Officer, obviously somebody did. See, that's the point. I did not trip over my own 2 feet.
Philip, now you take it easy.
Listen to him, Ross. The guy's acting like he doesn't believe me.
If you want him to help, you have to answer his questions.
Yeah. Okay, I was in the back parking lot at the Lakeland Hotel.
How did it happen?
They jumped me from behind.
From behind.
Yeah. They had their lights on their motorcycles on. I couldn't really see anything until they were on top of me.
Were you able to fight back?
No, the first guy that hit me over the back of the head with something. He knocked me out. And then I guess the rest of them did a little tap dance on me.
How many of them were there?
I don't know.
Did you see any faces?
No, it was too dark.
Well, what makes you think it was the Galahads then?
Oh, it was the Galahads. I know their style.
You know their style.
Yeah.
As I told you before, he's had run-ins with this gang in the past.
Can you think of a reason for these repeated attacks?
Yeah, their leader, and I don't exactly see eye to eye.
Lou Jack, Brandon Lou Jack.
Yes.
Officer, now this very same gang, they attacked Philip and his wife at the Lewis home a few weeks ago.
I read the report. There wasn't enough evidence for an indictment then either.
Yeah, wait a minute, man. Look at me. What kind of evidence do you want, man?
Please, don't get yourself worked up again, all right?
What were you doing at the Lakeland Hotel?
Living there.
I thought you were living at the Lewis house.
I was. I'm getting a divorce. I moved out.
Were you drinking?
What?
Divorce is usually a very upsetting time for people.
Now, wait a minute. Officer, he was cold sober at the time, and his marital status has nothing to do with this case.
Well, unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be much of a case.
Well, the least you can do is pull the Galahads in for questioning.
We just end up releasing them like we did
Man,
last
you don't
time.
seem to realize these guys almost killed me. Now, what's wrong with you?
Kill yourself if you don't calm down. Now, settle down.
I'll write up my report, but I'm sorry, without hard evidence, there isn't much of a case. If you come up with anything more definite, you give me a ring down.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you a raise. So that's it, huh?
Philip, would you calm down? Let me handle
Go
this.
ahead, drop it. That's fine. I'm gonna see these guys in court. You hear me?
You're not going to see anyone, any place, until you are completely cured. And that's not going to happen until you start following Dr. Darnell's orders. Hi.
Hi, dear.
I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
No, indeed. Come on in, Michael. Give me a kiss. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm just fine. I'd like you to meet my therapist, Jake Cornell. This is my son,
Oh, nice to
Michael Bauer.
Oh, hello, Mr. Bauer. Very nice to meet you.
Now, where were we?
Well, while we're waiting for the wound to heal, we're going to teach you how to walk.
Before I get the prosthesis?
Correct.
But...
Oh, no, with a walker.
Oh,
right.
that's wonderful. Good, good.
You know, you're lucky the amputation was below the knee. It's going to be a lot easier for you to learn how to walk.
Yeah, I know that. I know.
You know, my daughter's friend had a similar operation, and it's amazing. I mean, you'd never know that she was wearing a prosthesis. I mean, she dances, she runs, she goes bowling.
I hear that, Bert. We're going to have to sign you for the hospital bowling league.
Well, don't, because I never could bowl even before the operation. All I want is to start walking again.
You will, you will.
When do I start the therapy?
Friday.
Oh, I wish it were today.
Friday now, doctor's orders.
Okay.
Well, look, I'll tell you what. How would you like to take a tour of the therapy room? I can explain everything that we're going to be doing.
Oh, I'd love it. That'd be great.
All right, good, good. Well, listen, I have a little paperwork to do. What do you say I come back in half an hour?
Oh, thanks, Jake. I'll be right here waiting.
All right, all right. Very nice meeting you, Mr.
Good
Bauer.
to meet you.
All right. See you later, Bill.
Okay, sure. Bye, Jake. So, what do you think?
Oh, well, I'm just so excited.
Oh, I bet you are.
You're not rushing this therapy, are you, Mom? It's not going to be easy.
Oh, honey,
And Friday's only a couple of days away.
I'm so ready I could burst.
Oh, yeah, she's ready. She's ready.
Honey, I want to start working again so I can start living a normal life.
And I'm going to be here to help you any way I can.
Thank you, darling. But the big question is, when do I get to dance at your wedding?
Mm-hmm. Myrtle Beaumont Baxter. Those are very prominent names in this state.
Yes, they are. But please, call me Muffy. Only the executor of my trust fund calls me Myrtle.
All right. Muffy. I must say that, well, your resume is interesting, but it doesn't seem to show much professional experience.
I haven't had much time to devote myself to a career before.
Ah, because of marriage.
Not in your life. No. I've traveled, if you know what I mean. And actually, I've done a lot of charity work.
Oh, yes, 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 I noticed. You certainly have done your fair share of fundraising.
It's expected of a Beaumont and a Baxter. And anyway, it's easy when you move in the right circles.
And do those circles include the Spauldings and the Chamberlains?
I've met the Spauldings on occasion. But Vanessa Chamberlain, Vanessa Lewis now, is one of my dearest college chums. We were sorority sisters.
Wow, what a small world.
Especially when you travel by Concord.
Yes, yes, indeed.
It was Vanessa who thought it was time I go to work. And it was she who suggested there might be an opening here.
Really? I didn't realize that Mrs. Lewis took such an interest in the Foundation's affairs.
To tell you the truth, she doesn't take much of an interest in anything anymore, except her husband. You know, I think Vanessa is planning to divest herself of business altogether.
And now, why do you think that?
It wasn't anything she said, exactly. It's more how she looked.
Oh?
Something tells me that Vanessa just might be the teeny-weeniest bit preggers.
Preggers? Muffy, you appear to be a very observant young woman.
I can be when I need to be.
Now, is Vanessa's goading the only reason you decided to look for a job?
No. You know, despite what people think, jet setting isn't all it's cracked up to be. It can be truly, truly boring. And now that I'm anchored back in Springfield for a while, I need something to occupy my time.
Well, the position of public relations director may not prove to be as exciting as what you're used to.
I thought so before I came. But after having met you, Mr. Andrews, I'm sure I could lose myself in my work.
You'd have a lot to learn. But then you'd contribute a lot. Your charm and your background, well, they're assets in this kind of work.
What I lack in experience, I make up for in tenacity, Mr. Andrews. There's never been anything I couldn't master when I put my mind to it.
Maureen.
Oh.
I thought Ed would be here.
No. He's with the patient. Can I take a message for him?
No, it's a professional matter. Thanks.
Claire?
Yeah.
Claire, does this have anything to do with my candidacy for the hospital administrator? I understand you're not terribly pleased with that.
Where did you hear that?
Grapevine.
Yes, of course, the grapevine. Everything that happens around here is subject to gossip, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm not one for gossip either, Claire, but just tell me, is it true?
Yes.
Why?
Maureen, you're a terrific person. You have done wonders with the Patients Advocacy Program, and no one can make a better wife to Ed than you. But you are just not qualified to be the hospital administrator here.
Claire, I just would have thought that you, of all people, would understand what an excellent opportunity this is for a woman.
This is not a feminist issue, Maureen. Look, I'm a professional. I care a lot about medicine, a lot about medical standards. I have worked very long, hard years to get where I am. And honestly, I just take offense to anyone being offered a job for which they have no background.
Claire, you know, you're just not the only person who has worked really hard to get what she wants. I think you should know that I have taken classes at the university for over a year now in business administration, and of course, I don't have the experience. But how does one get the experience if they don't have the job?
Agreed, Maureen, but you don't start at the top. Surgeons don't. Why should hospital administrators?
Well, obviously the board of directors doesn't agree with you.
Yeah, maybe not.
Look, they wouldn't be interviewing me today if they didn't think that I was qualified.
Maureen, you don't have to be defensive.
I am not.
No.
I am. All right. Of course, I've sat down and thought about whether or not I can do this job. And I can. Of course, I'm going to give it my best shot. Is there anything wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with a person striving to better their life?
Yes, when the person's ego can jeopardize the hospital and her husband.
Well, that won't happen.
It won't? Honestly, Maureen, have you really stopped to consider the compromising position you're going to be putting Ed in if you accept this job?
Honestly, Claire, did you ever stop to consider the compromising position you put him in when you seduced his son?
Oh, now we're getting down to the real deal. This is about Rick and me, isn't it?
No, I am not going to stand here and listen to you go on and on about professional standards when, Claire Ramsey, your behavior has been anything but professional.
The relationship that Rick and I have has nothing to do with me being a doctor, Maureen.
Come on, Claire. You completely betrayed Ed's trust. You totally undermined his authority by seducing Rick.
I did no such thing.
Claire, you're a grown woman. You should know better. You should understand the consequences of your actions.
What consequences?
Do you have any idea what it's like for Ed to walk down the corridors and hear these rumors flying?
I have a real good idea because they're all about me.
Well, you see there, you should have known better. How could you do that? How could you do that to Rick?
I didn't do anything to Rick, Maureen. Oh. Maureen, what Rick and I had was a very private, personal moment between two consenting adults. And I am certainly not ashamed of it, or am I ever going to be sorry it happened. And I'm not going to stand here and justify it to you or anybody else, Maureen. Aren't you overreacting just a little bit about this whole thing?
I might be.
Wait a minute. Why don't we get down to the real heart of the matter here, Maureen?
Well, Claire, I thought you said we were.
Well, maybe I was wrong. This isn't anything more about Rick than it is about you being appointed administrator. This is about Jim and me, isn't it?
Jim. Jim. Well, Claire, you told me yourself that your interest in Jim was purely professional.
Yeah, well, maybe I was wrong. Nothing is going to come of it, believe me. I have realized lately that my feelings for Jim might have been a little bit deeper than I was willing to admit, but it's over.
So are you going to continue working in research?
I am a surgeon. Have been, always will be. In fact, my goal right now is to be the #1 surgeon on Ed's team.
All right, Claire. Now, where's that leave us?
Well, I guess we're just going to have to put our personal feelings aside and have to work together.
Claire, you just explained to me very thoroughly that you didn't want me working here.
As administrator, Maureen. Look, I'm not the only one that feels this way. If you do get appointed here, you're going to have to live with those doubts, Maureen. You're going to have to prove the skeptics wrong.
That is exactly what I intend to do. Now, if you'll excuse me, Dr. Ramsey. Excuse me.
Yeah. Maureen, I really hope things work out. I mean that. For all of us.
Well, I'll see you on Friday, Mrs. Bowers. All
Okay,
right?
Jake, thanks.
Okay, you're
Look
welcome.
forward to it.
Oh, hello, Doctor. How are you?
So, how's it going?
Fine, just fine. How are you doing?
Fine, just fine.
Michael was here earlier, and Hillary was here, too, and they're both in very good spirits.
Well, that's good.
Well, when's the board meeting? What about it?
You don't believe in small talk, do you?
When is it?
2 hours.
Oh. Well, I've got my fingers crossed for Maureen.
No, she's got my vote, Mom.
Oh, honey, I'm so glad to hear that.
No, I really wanted to get this job. There's just one thing I'm a little bit worried about.
And what's that?
Well, what if she takes it into her head to fire me?
Oh, I doubt very much that will happen.
Okay, I'll remember you said that. So who besides Mike and Hillary has been in to see you?
Well, Rick was here. Honey, yesterday I heard 2 nurses talking outside the door about Rick and Dr. Ramsey.
The rumor finally got around to you, too, huh?
Well, I've got to tell you, dear, that I was quite shocked.
Well, join the club. I talked to Rick about it, but he was very evasive, and then I tried to forget about it, but for some reason I can't do that either.
Well, you and Dr. Ramsey are very close. Why don't you try talking to her?
I did, I have, I tried.
And she was evasive, too. Well, maybe both of them are trying to tell you that it's none of your business.
I guess so. You know, the thing that gets me is why is it so important that I know the truth? I mean, why does the whole thing matter so much to me?
Oh, Ed, you're Rick's father. You're concerned about him.
Yeah, but I think it's more than that. You know, I think I'm actually jealous of my own son.
When will you be making your decision, Mr. Andrews?
Very soon. The new research wing at Cedars Hospital will be opening very shortly. We need a public relations director for those opening ceremonies.
Then I'll be hearing from you soon.
Oh, yes, you will. Laura, send in the next applicant, will you? Thank you. Good afternoon. You must be...
Ross Sharp. But you can save the formalities. I saw Miss Junior Lee Kai stepping out of here, so let's not waste your time or mine.
Oh, wait a minute. Where are you going?
You don't want me. You can have Myrtle Beaumont Baxter glad handing for you.
How did you know that was Miss Baxter?
I worked for a state senator these past 2 years, and in politics you learn to read upside down.
I take it you brought a resume of your own, Miss Sharp?
Mm-hmm. I wasn't planning on filling out an application. Nice setup you've got here.
Thank you.
You know, an office should reflect the man who works there, and this is first cabin.
So is your resume. I'm impressed.
You should be. Now, as for me, I like my offices fast and functional. Lots of chrome and glass and a few Persian rugs thrown around here and there.
Authentic, of course.
Oh, there's no substitute for the real thing, Mr. Andrews.
I noticed from this that you type and you take shorthand.
In 5 languages.
I'll be looking for a secretary.
I hope you find one.
What about you?
What about me?
Would you be interested?
For the right price, maybe.
Which is?
Well, now, A job without a title costs a lot more than you were offering for the public relations director.
Uh-huh. Well, that can be arranged.
Now we can talk.
How does 15,000 sound?
Get serious.
I am.
Double it.
25's the best I can do.
Make that 27.5. My own parking space, 3 weeks paid vacation, and I don't do coffee.
Oh, Miss Sharp. Miss Sharp, Miss Sharp. It looks like I have myself a new secretary.
No. You've got yourself an executive assistant.
Man, I cannot believe the cops are not going to lock those hoods up.
Philip, I know it's frustrating for you, but to press charges, you need hard evidence.
Why is it my responsibility? Damn it, I didn't do anything wrong.
Maybe the Galahads didn't either.
Damn it, Ross, they did.
They are innocent until proven guilty. That is the law.
They're guilty. Take my word for it. And I know who's responsible. Damn Lou Jack.
What is Brandon guilty of?
Take a look.
Why do you think Brandon was responsible?
Because he's a lowlife.
Alexandra, there's been bad blood between these boys for quite some time.
I'm aware of that, but Brandon is changing.
Yeah, like hell he is. Once a lowlife, always a lowlife.
You can't believe that. He's trying very hard. He's been to my home, and he did the nicest thing for Lillian Raines.
I bet he's been to your home. Casing it for his buddies, no doubt. And let me tell you something. If he did something nice for Mrs. Raines, it's because he wants to get to Beth.
Why do you always think the worst of him?
Because he's the worst, Aunt Alex.
Look, Philip is pretty sure that it was the Galahads who attacked him.
That doesn't mean Brandon wasn't
It
involved.
does, too. They don't do anything without his okay.
Philip, you can't let yourself get overexcited
I'm
like
all right.
this.
I'm okay.
I didn't mean to upset you, Philip, but I happen to know for a fact that my son is innocent.
Yeah, like he was when they attacked the Lewis house, like
If
that.
you don't stop this, I'm going to have you sedated.
Listen, I think we should leave for a while and let Philip get some rest.
I don't want to rest until he's behind bars.
Look, Brandon could not be responsible for your beating. He's not even in Springfield.
Where is he? He's summering in the Hamptons?
Oh, no,
He just needed to get away for a few days.
Well, where Lou Jack is not the problem. The problem is the Galahads.
Lou Jack is the Galahads. Now, if the police don't want to do anything about it, I don't give a damn. It's fine. I'll do it myself.
What do you mean, Philip?
I am going to make sure that they get what is coming to them.
Look, Frank,
one way or another.
You better call the doctor.
No, I don't want a doctor. I want Lou Jack, damn it!
Philip, please, please don't get caught up in the desire for revenge.
Oh, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. One way or the other, I'm going to get him.
I can understand your feelings, but direct your efforts at the Galahads, at the people who did attack you.
At the people that are led by my cousin, huh? You going to represent me?
Philip, I can't. I'm no longer a practicing lawyer, but even if I were, the risk of sounding redundant, there's not a case here.
Though a good lawyer could no doubt make a case, isn't that right?
Whose side are you on?
The Spaulding side. It's clear to me that both you and Brandon are threatened by this group of hoodlums, and it's time somebody put a stop to it.
Well, you're treading on dangerous ground if you think that somebody is you, Alexandra.
Brandon had no part in Philip's beating. Now, if my lawyer can find a way to bring the rest of that gang to trial, it will end their hold on my son once and for all.
Oh, forget it, Aunt Alex.
I promised Alan I would protect you. And I have every intention of fulfilling that promise. I'm going to call Mike Bauer. I'll have him come over to the hospital, and we'll see what can be done right away.
What are you thinking about?
Can you be asleep with your eyes still open?
I don't know. Probably. Why?
It must be right now, then. I am so burnt. I can't believe it.
Me too. But I gotta unpack.
Now?
Yes, I've been living out of my suitcase for a week.
So what's a few more minutes?
A few more wrinkles in my clothes.
Oh, all right, okay, look, I'll help you. Wait.
Oh, no, you don't have to do that.
Oh, yes, I do. Look, you need muscles to lift this bag of yours. What do you got What in this thing, anyway? Rocks?
You know, romance sure has a funny effect on you. First you're tired, and then you're weak.
What'd you say?
Put me down.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Put me down, I
Come on,
said.
something about being weak? Is that what you said?
You're not weak.
What?
You're not weak.
A little louder.
You're not weak. You're the strongest guy I ever met.
Now that's better.
You have to be pretty strong to hold me up that long.
You're light as a feather. At least compared to that bag over there. Hey. I don't believe it. You got rocks in there?
Only one. And some shells.
What did you bring that back for?
Souvenirs. They were on the beach where we made our campfire.
What do you need souvenirs for when you got the real thing?
Yes, Mike, it's very important. Fine. I'll be here at Cedars waiting for you. Thank you.
Alexandra.
Hello, Warren.
I had no idea you'd be attending the board meeting today.
Oh, I'm not. My nephew's been injured.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Will he be all right?
In a few days.
Is there anything I can do?
No, Ross is with Philip now, and Mike Bauer's on his way over.
Well, perhaps we can meet after the board meeting to celebrate Maureen Bauer's appointment with cocktails and dinner.
I'm sorry. That's completely out of the question.
Hey.
Hi, honey.
Holding up?
Barely, no.
Just a little bit nervous, are we?
Oh, just a lot nervous, Edward. Oh, honey, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if I should go through with this.
What are you talking about? You came this far.
I know, but
But what?
it's a big risk, you know, for both of us.
Well, so's getting out of bed in the morning.
Yeah. But have you really thought about what it could mean if I get this appointment?
Yes, I have. That's why I decided to back you up on this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I could fail.
You won't.
I could, though.
Well, then, so you fail. I'm not going to love you any the less for that.
Oh. Do you know, there's so many people in this hospital that are just waiting me to fall right in my face.
Oh, no. That's not true. It's not true.
Yes, it is. It is. I know what they're saying. They're saying Maureen Bauer? Well, she's just a secretary who married her boss, and then he arranged to get her a really good job that she's not remotely equipped for.
Come on, now, wait. What brought this on? Somebody said something to you?
No, it's people. They're talking.
Who?
Just people.
Oh, come on, so there's always talk. When you deliver and they got nothing left to say.
Do you really think I should go ahead and try for this job?
I'm sorry. Look at it this way, all right? You couldn't do a worse job than your predecessor. Come on.
Oh, I love you.
Oh, hi, Howard.
Well, excuse me, I was under the impression that a board meeting was taking place in this room.
Alexander.
Is Philip any better?
Oh, he's calm. Doctors are with him.
I wish you would drop this foolish crusade against Brandon and the Galahads.
I wouldn't exactly call it foolish. Now, Philip has every right to be angry. He's been victimized by this group time and time again.
My son has been victimized for 16 years. I don't want it perpetuated by members of his own family.
Well, I'm sorry, but you have to understand where Philip is coming from.
I do. But every time a crime is committed, that doesn't mean Brandon was behind it.
Well, Philip has reasons to think exactly that.
This time, he's wrong. Brandon is innocent.
Was he really out of town?
I wouldn't lie about something like that.
I hope not.
Frankly, Ross, I'm a little surprised at your ingratitude. Or have you forgotten? If it weren't for Brandon, you might have been convicted on those drug charges Alan
No,
set
I
up.
have not forgotten, but my natural loyalties are with Philip.
We're both caught in the middle. What we should be doing is working to reconcile the Spaulding heirs.
Good luck doing that.
I'm sure there's a way. But at the moment, we just have to try to keep matters from getting completely out of hand.
You think you can do that by having Mike Bauer bring charges against the Galahads?
Oh, heavens, no. Whatever way it turned out, it would just increase the animosity between Brandon and Philip. And it might very well wind up costing me my son.
Any way you look at it, it's a no-win situation.
Perhaps Mike can come up with some solution. I'm counting on him to talk Philip out of pressing charges.
Gonna need more than luck for that. Listen, I have to get back to the office, but you call me and tell me what happens, all right?
I will. Thank you, Russ. Lillian.
Oh, yes, there is.
I hope you understand why I stopped you from telling Philip where my son was. In his present frame of mind, the last thing Philip needed was to hear that Beth and Brandon had been away together.
Rocks. Sandbags for clothes. Look at this. This is real cute. No wonder I busted my back hauling your gear for you.
I have got to get to a laundromat. If I want any clothes to wear tomorrow.
No, save your quarters. I fixed your mom's washing machine. It's working better than new.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Mom will be home. Usually she's at the hospital at this time.
Great. So we'll just lay back for a while. There's no rush, right?
I know. We could go to the hospital and see her.
What, they got washing machines at the hospital?
No, no, no. I want to tell her our news.
What news?
What news?
Oh, yeah, that news.
Yeah. So let's get cleaned up, because I wanted to be the first one in Springfield.
Oh,
to know.
Beth, wait a second. Hey.
I know Philip has to find out sooner or later about Beth and Brandon, but I do think it's best if it's delayed a bit.
Hi.
Mike, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate your coming over here so quickly.
Well, that's right. As it happens, I had an appointment canceled. So what can I do for you?
It's pretty much as I told you on the phone. Philip was beaten up last night, and he's convinced Brandon and his gang were the culprits.
So what would you like me to do?
I want you to represent Philip and protect my son from any possible criminal charges that might arise against him.
It sounds like it could be a potential conflict of interest there.
No, there's no conflict. We're all the same family.
Well, in that case, the best way to handle it would be to keep it out of court.
Precisely. That's why you must talk Philip out of pressing charges.
But if I represent him, I'll have to act in his best interests. I'm not going to be able to manipulate him. I'll have to play it straight with him.
I wouldn't expect you to do anything else.
Are there any other questions? Well, Mr. Williamson, thank you for coming in. We'll get in touch with you as soon as we reach a decision.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Warren, would you ask Mrs. Bauer to come in, please? You take a seat, please, Mrs. Bauer.
Yes, thank you, Howard.
Now, as you know, Mrs. Bauer is our third and final candidate for head administrator. Are you ready, Maureen?
Yes, I guess I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
All right, who would like to begin the questioning?
Maureen, dear, what I would like to know is, why do you want to enter the sordid arena of business when you could find fulfillment as the wife of our chief of staff?
Well, that's a very good question, Mrs. Willoughby, one that's not easy to answer.
You don't know the answer, dear?
Oh, no, it's not that. It's that it's a combination of things, you see.
What things, Mrs. Bauer?
Well, personal pride, for one. Rising to the challenge.
Can you meet that challenge with your obvious lack of experience?
Granted, I do have less experience than the other two candidates, but I do feel that I can balance that with my commitment to excel.
Could you be more specific?
Yes, I care very much about Cedars Hospital. I've spent a lot of time here. I mean, not only working with my husband, but spending time working on the patient advocacy program.
Program I think we all agree that Mrs. Bauer has done a wonderful job with.
Yes, thank you. And I have become very close with a lot of the staff members working on various benefits and charity programs.
Do you think that alone qualifies you to be the administrator?
Now, what good are administrators if they're not good fundraisers? Now, I know you'll go along with me on that, Howard.
What about babies, Maureen?
What about them?
You're a young woman. Surely you and Dr. Bauer will be thinking about starting a family someday soon.
Mrs. Willoughby, I'm sure you're very aware that many successful women have careers and families.
But can they serve the family as well as the career?
I cannot think of any better way to serve my family than here at Cedars. Cedars is my family. My husband works here. My brother works here. My mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my stepson. That is a lot of Bauer dedication. Something I think you all know is a very powerful thing. Now, if I am elected the new administrator of this hospital, I do intend to live up to the Bauer name. And I promise to bring to it all the achievement and honor that it has had in the past and will have in days to come.
Well, thank you for sharing your feelings with us, Mrs. Bauer.
Thank you, Howard.
I move that we vote on my successor right away.
Would you excuse us, Mrs. Bauer?
Yes, of course.
Do I have a second to the motion?
Yes, I'd like to second it.
All right, now, Ed, before we vote, I'd like to ask you this question. How do you feel about working professionally with your wife?
Well, I'm sure that won't be a problem for Dr. Bauer.
Well, yes, but as we all know, the chief of staff and the head administrator often find themselves on opposite sides of the fence. How do you feel about that, Ed?
First of all, Howard, I have complete confidence in Maureen's ability to handle the duties of the head administrator, and I'm sure that we can handle whatever differences might arise professionally.
All right, a motion's been made and seconded that we vote for the administrator. Let's begin right now.
Okay, now you say that you'd parked the car and you'd gotten out.
Right, it was in the parking lot. See, that's where it happened the last time that they mugged me.
All right, now, we're not talking about the last time. We're talking about this time.
I know, but see, it's happened before. That's how I know it was them this time, too.
Philip, there's no question in my mind that you have ample reason to dislike the gang, but what you don't have is a shred of evidence to build a case.
Man, if I hear that one more time, I am gonna croak. You hear me? Now, damn it, there's gotta be some way to get them. There's gotta be some...
We need somebody to help us, please.
Hey, what's going on?
Can't breathe.
Hey, take it easy. Kids are gonna be okay.
What can I do?
Okay. All right, he's hyperventilating. Get me 7.5 Valium IV push. We gotta bring him down quickly.
The vote has been taken. Ed, would you ask your wife to come in, please?
Come in.
Congratulations, Mrs. Bauer. You're the new chief administrator of Cedars Hospital.
Mama, I'm back. Beth, I miss you, honey. I'm so glad to see you. You're so tan. How was your trip?
Oh, it was wonderful. Everything was wonderful. What I have to tell you is wonderful. Mama, Luchek and I are...
Spaulding, he should be okay now.
Oh, good, thank you. What's Philip doing here?
Oh, he had an accident last night, and they brought him in.
What room is he in?
427. Oh, Beth, no, I'm saluting.
Don't worry, darling. Everything's going to be all right.
No way. Nothing's going to be right again.
This has been Guiding Light. Decorations provided by Lily Rubin Salon South, Southwest, and Barney's. Jewelry by Stephen Dweck. Be sure to be with us tomorrow for another full hour.